So now to finish this map screen, I now want to make sure that we can also tap on this map to select a new place. Now for that we need to listen for taps on the map, and thankfully that's straightforward because that Google Map widget has a on tap parameter, which can be set to a function that automatically receives the position on which the user tapped. And that position will be such a lat longitude object. Now here on the map, I then actually want to move the marker to that position on which the user tapped. And I of course also want to make sure that if that save button here in the app bar is tapped, so when this function here is triggered, that this picked location is sent back to that add place screen. Now therefore, I'll first of all add a new variable here of type lat longitude, which might be null, which will be my picked location. And I want to update this when the map is tapped. So here on tap, I'll call set state to also trigger the build method again, and set picked location equal to that position I'm getting here. Now with that, we can also move the marker by going down to that marker, and here the position should not always be set to the widget location latitude and longitude. Instead, I want to check if picked location is not null, and if that's the case, I want to set my latitude and longitude to that picked location. So therefore here, I'll check if that is not equal to null, in which case I want to set picked location here as a value here for position. Otherwise, I'll use this manually constructed latitude longitude value. Now picked location here could be null. Dart does not understand that here I'm checking for it to not be null, hence we must add an exclamation mark. And with that, we implemented this check, and we have these two alternatives now. By the way, you could also write this in a more concise way by using this syntax, these double question marks. This special Dart operator simply says that you want to use this value here as a value for this parameter if it's not null, but if it should be null, so if picked location should be null here, you want to use this as a fallback instead. So that's simply a more concise and shorter way of getting the same result. But with that, we're moving the marker, and I actually don't even want to show a marker if we don't have a picked location. So therefore here, for markers, we can check if picked location is null, in which case I want to pass an empty set to markers, and only otherwise I want to use this set with my marker. Though if we would only add this check here, we would also not show a marker if we're using this map for showing an already picked place. Because in that case, picked location would be null, but of course we still would have a place. But that's why we also have this is selecting property here. With that down here, when setting the markers, we can check whether picked location is null and, wrapped in parentheses to group these two conditions together, and if widget is selecting is true. And this is kind of redundant since is selecting already contains a boolean. With that, we're saying that we don't want to show any markers if we don't have a picked location and we are in this is selecting mode. If is selecting should be set to false. So if we're not selecting a new place, but instead we're using this screen to show an existing place, we don't care whether picked location is null or not. This will never be true, and therefore we will show a marker. Because we only make it into this part of the ternary expression if both conditions here yield true, since we're using AND for connecting them. With that, we're making sure that this map screen stays versatile and can also be used for showing an already picked place.